Hey guys, and welcome to part two of my darkest moment, the period of time I experienced maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago. If you haven't listened to or watched part one, I recommend watching that one first to get better context for this one. Please enjoy. So, I would like to say fortunately that's the end of my car troubles, but unfortunately I can't, and we'll get to that later on. But the next big thing that I faced was Easter, and if you are a baker or you know any bakers, please show them some sympathy through Easter, because that is the most painful and hardest time that we go through. It is painful how much hot cross buns sell, how much they're in demand for. And yeah, so this was the this is the weekend after April the 7th, which I'll just bring up the calendar to have a quick look. So I went back to work on April 14th, which was the Sunday after the week of pity or self-loathing I was sitting in. So I went back to work on the 14th. Yeah, which was fine, which was because it was just fine. I finally got back to work and was able to organize. Just get back to my department and run my department and my team, get them organized, and get them ready for the Easter week. Unfortunately, one of my staff, which we will name Martha, she had been covering me for the week that I was away, so it was and she had asked for the Tuesday, Wednesday, or the following Tuesday, Wednesday off. Those are the days that she was supposed to be back in work. And begrudgingly, I didn't really feel like I could say no, considering she'd worked all week while I was away, even though that this was the Easter week and we needed to spend those days building up, because only me and Martha are capable of making the bread, and we really needed basically a 2 to a 3 person team in order to get our bread levels up. So I was just, well, okay, I don't mind. I'll give her the Tuesday, Wednesday off, so she can come back and rest. Another thing about Martha is that she's deaf, so it makes communication with her quite problematic sometimes, and just trying to get points across, or just trying to have an everyday conversation, just give instructions or things like that. We only get an interpreter in once a month who knows sign language, so it isn't the easiest thing dealing with her. But I try. We try and do what we can is to make sure the team runs smoothly. But she came back that Thursday, the 18th, which was basically the biggest day of our year for the bakeries. For all the bakeries, that would be the biggest day of the year, because obviously Easter Friday is when we're closed, and that's when we make most of our sales, that Friday, and then it's Saturday. Not as much as the Thursday, though. The Thursday is bigger. So I really wanted to do a big build up on a Wednesday. I didn't mind working 12, 13 hours those days without a break, because we needed to build up. It was this period of the year, so I don't mind doing that. But we had all the team on board on Thursday. Normally we have 4 staff in. I think this time we had 6, 7 staff coming in to make sure that everything was running smoothly. And then about halfway through the shift, fortunately Martha falls down, hurts her knee, and she needs to be taken off to A&E, where the doctors give her 2 weeks off. At this point, I'm just like, I can't cope with that. I can't think about that. I just need to keep pressing forward. So I do what I can. I finished the shift by myself. We try and organize one of my other staff to come in and help me on Saturday at midnight. He's not a baker, so he doesn't really have any of that skill, but unfortunately I can't do Saturday, this one of the second busiest days of the year, by myself, not if we want to be able to meet our budgets and make our sales properly. So I coax him in, if he can come with me and just help me out. He can just follow my instructions, and just I'll guide him through what he can do. Fortunate enough, he agreed, which I'm very, very thankful for. So we get through that Saturday, which is fine. That's what we need. That's just what I need to get through, was that Thursday and that Saturday, so that when I come back on, so we have the Sunday off, the Easter Sunday. And make note of that. I had the Easter Sunday off, because that'll be important. So I had the Easter Sunday off, and come back the following Monday. I'm not sure if that's ever called something. There is no like Easter Monday. If there is, I forget. Easter's just a time of turmoil, and I just don't really care about thinking too much about it, which is unfortunate because I used to love Easter being so close to my birthday, but now I hate it because I hate hot cross buns because I hate making them. Yep. So anyway, so I continue to work throughout that week. So because Martha's off for 2 weeks from that Thursday, she wouldn't be back till the 2nd of May. So I had to, and unfortunately, only me and Martha are the only ones capable of making the bread for the store. So when normally Martha does it, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and I do it Sunday and Monday so she can have days off. And then and the days that she's doing it and I'm there, I can catch up and do all my manager stuff, my paperwork, my ordering, my rosters, make sure all the team are doing their own thing, you know, all the extra stuff that needs to be done that the managers take care of. But with her away, I obviously have to do her job and stay a little bit extra to make sure that my job is done where it can be done. Not all of it was done, but you know, obviously, because I was doing, I think for that week I was doing 10, 11-hour shifts with no breaks, just because it was hard and it was painful. And I think the Queen's birthday or Labour weekend, one of the public holidays was around that period as well. It's Anzac Day. It was Anzac Day on one of the Wednesdays. I don't remember because that sort of time period was a blur. So the next thing that hit me was sometime in that week. I don't really remember when. I checked my account, mostly because I checked my account because I was expecting big pays from all that Easter pay, which was nice. But money was vanishing from my account. It was about $40 US in about 4 transactions over, I think, a few weeks. And I was really confused and looked into this, and I went to the bank. What it ended up being was a fraud, or more accurately, basically a backdoor subscription scam, where you don't realize you sign up to something, then they charge you, and they just keep charging you weekly subscription fee for what amounts to nothing other than the fact that you've just signed up so they can steal your money. And I caught on to this, and it's $40 US, but it was a multiple about 4 times, so that was close to about $200 to $300 that I had lost, that I had realized at the time. So once I knew what was going on, also when figuring this out, I think I figured this out, you know, when I was trying to go to bed, and you know when you know that feeling when you figure something out and you want it to fix it immediately, or it needs to be dealt with right then and there, but there's nothing you can do. That's when the sort of anxiety comes in and kicks, and that happened there because I just wanted to sort it out immediately, but obviously I couldn't because I needed to go to bed. I had work the next day. So I just had to kind of deal with it. So I did end up, even going through work, I was still worried about it because I wanted to go down to the bank immediately, which I ended up doing. I just left, went down to the bank as soon as it opened, had all my accounts closed, all my cards cancelled, and we have new cards delivered to my place. So in the meantime, I was just paying with cash or just not paying with cards at all. But that problem was then sorted out, which I was thankful for being sorted out. I wasn't happy about losing the money, but it's okay. The money was being you know, at least I wasn't going to lose any more money. So I think yep. And then we go into the next week, which is roughly from I think the 22nd to about the 28th. A minor thing, some of these are just minor things, but you know, everything builds up. Where I park my car, it's sort of like parallel parking in a line, but because I'm the first one there in the morning, I can just take the first spot, so I don't have to worry about making parallel parks, because I can always just reverse that as much as I want and drive off. But for like the last 5 or 6 months, there's been a car that's just been in that first spot, just sitting there. I thought it was abandoned for. I was going to make a call the council or something to come and deal with it because it hadn't been moved for about 5 or 6 months. So I thought someone had just parked it there and abandoned it. But some point during this week, I came to park my car, which I'm happy I had got back, by the way. I was very happy to get my car back. So when I went to park my car, this car that had been sitting there had been moved. It was still in the line of car parks, but it had just been moved like 5 or 6 down. I thought it was really weird, but who knows? But I was just happy because it means I could get the first spot back, which is I was, you know, it's the small things that make you happy, I guess. So I parked there for that day, and it wasn't until I came back out and drove home that I noticed that there was I think a little piece of paper on my windshield wiper, and I thought it was just rubbish, or you know, an advert or a leaflet of some kind, until I opened up and read it, and it turns out someone had backed into the front of my car, and they were kind enough to leave me a note with their contact details and insurance, which I'm very thankful and happy about. But I was just annoyed that, you know, just getting my car back, you know, spending $6 grand on it, having it just cleaned, finally getting the spot, the first day that I get this spot back that I've always had, apart from the last 6 months, someone immediately backs into it. It's, you know, you can't help but just laugh at all the shit that's being thrown at you in these sorts of situations. So I was trying to, so I was like, oh yeah. So I spent the next day or two calling the insurance and dealing with it. Luckily, because it wasn't my fault, they'll cover it, so I won't have to pay any excess or any money out of my own pocket, which I'm very happy for. And the damage isn't too bad. It's not that noticeable. It's a dent and a few scratches. Unfortunately, I still haven't dealt with it. I've got to call the repair place to see when they can fix it. So, and yeah, that was sort of that week. At this point, because I've been working basically 2 weeks straight without a day off, I barely take my breaks, and all this stuff that keeps happening to me. I'm sure there was a few more minor things that keep happening to me, but I sort of just at this point I just sort of had to turn my emotions off and just not think about anything, or not let anything get to me. Yeah, because the channel was starting to bug me. I hadn't done a new video. I think we had just done something. We had recorded the holiday. One of the days we had recorded. I think it was the day. It was either the Thursday or the Friday after I paid for my car, and just before I got my car back. And we had everyone around and recorded. We did a recording for how the holiday went and all that was, which was good. But I hadn't really done much with it because I hadn't had time off to do any editing, which was starting to bother me because I didn't want to leave the channel so long without a video. But luckily I was expecting Martha to come back May the 2nd, so that I could have a few days off, have my days off, and get back to work. So Martha does come back in May the 2nd, and so I use this time to come in and basically try and catch up on all my paperwork as much as I can. And I asked if she could work the Sunday for me, which she agreed to, which I was nice of her. And yeah, and you know, I text everyone in the crew saying I have the 2 days off, let's get together, let's catch up, because I haven't seen anyone for 2 weeks. And yeah, and then I sort of get home, and I think about half an hour after getting home I get a message from Arthur saying that she went to the doctors and they've given her another 2 weeks off. And you can just sort of imagine, I was just like, I sort of got my hopes up and then just dashed them all back down. It's just, okay, yeah, let everyone know, yeah, plans are cancelled, I'm working, can't do anything about it, just continue on with what I've been doing. Had to suck it up and just keep working, and which I basically did. It just worked for another 2 weeks. So I think I ended up working 4 weeks straight. It's because the last day I had off was Easter Sunday, and there are, you know, at that point I really just had to turn everything off that wasn't just straightforward biological function, eating, sleeping, getting up, going to work, and just working. That was basically my life for those days, because that's all I could manage and handle. Just trying to deal with, you know, the insurance to fix my car, just trying to make sure that I have enough money, because that's now a big thing looming over my head. And yeah, and then I think in the last week, which I believe was last week, I was trying to remember, today's the 20th. So yeah, last week around about Wednesday the 15th, another one of my staff, Jessica, she unfortunately had to take some time off because she had an operation that needed to be done, and also because her husband, she wanted to spend some time with her husband. Her husband unfortunately was very sick with cancer, and he had been in hospital for the last month, and she wanted to spend some time with him before he passed away. Yeah, and it was sort of around about the same time that I found out from my family that my nana, the one who lives at the island that we went to go see on my birthday, the April 7th, had basically also taken a turn for the worst. She also has cancer. We found out last year, and in the space of a few weeks, she'd basically also taken a turn for the worst and has also deteriorated to the point where they just got a hospital bed in, and that's where she is now. I think she's just in bed all day, every day, and that's so she doesn't actually have that much time left. And you know, I told my boss this. I'm like, I need to go see my nana because you know, I'm not going to get a chance to see her again, and I want to see her before, at least one more time before she passes away. So I told him whether Maggie is back or not, I need to go away for the weekend, which is this following weekend, Friday the 24th and 25th. So I'll be going down with my parents on Friday to go see her, and yeah, spend some last moments with her before she passes away. But going back to that week with Jessica off, with Operation, spending some time with the husband, which was nice. So I had to so I had two people off because obviously Martha was still off and Jessica was still off, and I was down half my team. The boss was starting to ride me about, you know, the department's not, you know, is starting to not look as good, or, you know, we're not making our sales, and I was getting annoyed at that because he knows what I'm going through, and he knows how difficult it is to try and run everything, especially when I'm at half the staff. And, you know, and he was, you know, we're supposed to have a meeting every day around about 10:30, and I'm supposed to finish at 10:30 because I started, you know, midnight or 1. And one of the meetings we had was quite literally, it was a coffee break where everyone just sat there for 20 minutes waiting for the coffee and then drinking the coffee, and I got very angry because I just wanted to go home. I'm like, with these meetings we're supposed to discuss important things like budgets, wages, how the store's doing for the week, and we didn't talk about any of that, and I got very annoyed. I just wanted to leave. But yeah, anyway, and yeah, come that that was all that last week. So May, unfortunately, fortunately, Martha did come back to work on the 23rd. No, that's the week. That's this week. She did come back on the 16th, but she was back on light duties, which sort of meant she couldn't really do her job. But she fortunately said she would do it, or do the duties regardless, so that I could have some time off, which was very nice of her. But the sad news is that following that Tuesday from that week, Jessica's husband passed away. So the whole department was trying to rally behind her and make sure that she had what she needed to get through that period. And the funeral was this Monday. So we all went to that. Basically, a lot of the people from the store went to that funeral. All the department went to the funeral. It's kind of a little bit odd for me with everyone in black because I just went after my shift in my white baker's coat, and I'm not sure how people feel. I'm not sure if you're supposed to be in white at a funeral, but we went there to support Jessica in her time of need with her husband passing away and whatnot. So it was sad. We learned to, yeah, it was sad. All funerals and deaths are. And it just sort of brought home the fact that my grandmother isn't going to be around much longer. So that's why I'm happy I'm going to go see her this weekend. And yeah. So, and then coming out of that, I was able to finally get a day off on the 17th and 18th, which was last week. Yeah, that was last week. I got my days confused. Yeah, I got my days confused. So that was the first time I was able to have off, and I was finally able to relax. And that was basically being the period of the time frame of the last month or so. I was able to, I think through those days off, I was able to edit the weekend holiday video and finally get it up. But I did want to get this whole time period off my chest with everything negative that had happened to me, how I feel about it, how I'm feeling about it, and what I'm going to do about it, because it was a lot of shit happened. Basically, I felt like the universe was just throwing more and more stuff at me, and I didn't know why. So luckily I did have a few things working in my favor, one of them being Josh, because I am not quite able to I'm not quite able to afford to live by myself. I do need to get somebody into the place now that my ex has left, and I'm not comfortable living with people I don't know, random people. So I offered the place to Josh, and he said he would stay here for a week. It was just supposed to be a week, just as a trial period, but we ended up extending it each week for the week I was working. So I ended up staying here for the last 4 weeks, just as a test to see if we would get along together, just so that we would work. And I've got to say, that's probably the thing that kept me up and going, just having the company in the house. Even though I didn't really see him all that often, because, you know, I would go to work, he would be asleep, and then he would go to work before I'd get home, and then I'd go to sleep before he would get home, so I wouldn't actually see him all that much. But it was just nice having someone in the house. You know, sometimes though we did see him, we would discuss Game of Thrones, or talk about a Fortnite, or just general guy stuff, which was nice to get along. So it was really nice having him there. And then obviously all my other brothers and sisters out there also trying to keep an eye on me as best they could, making sure that I was still around and kicking, which I was very thankful for. But yeah, so at this point, it's what I'm facing. What I'm left to deal with now is I'm just chugging along, doing what I can to stay afloat. Like I said, I got these bills and loans are going to be looming over my head for a while, and I'm just barely making ends meet to stay on top of them. Hopefully if Josh does want to move in, he can cover half the bills. That'll definitely take a lot of pressure off me, because then I can start I can start saving again, because right now I'm not really saving all that much. And I got 3 things I need to pay back. I got my bank loan, I got this finance loan, and I got my credit card. That all needs to be, payments still need to be made, and this is obviously on top of weekly rent, water, power, internet, things like that, of that nature. So you can imagine that this sort of thing is enough to boil over the edge of stress wise and things. But luckily I'm a master at dealing with stress, apparently. So out of all of this, what is my goal by making this video? I'm not looking for sympathy, I'm not looking for support, I'm not looking for financial aid. I don't need anybody to reach out to me. I have my I got my friends, my family, my friends around me. If I need to, they know how I'm doing, and I know I can reach out to them if I need help. I more or less made this video in means of an explanation as to what's happened over the last month, why we haven't been making any videos. Also, for anyone who's going through a hard time, that they can hear my problems. Maybe they might find something they can relate to. Maybe it might just help to know that there are other people in the world taking shit from the universe, or maybe they just need to, they just need to hear, somebody else go through a plight, just so that they can feel good about themselves. And I'm happy to oblige. Like, even though I felt down and I felt like I wanted to take my own life, I'm still here. I'm still happy with the way things are and things are going. I know I could have made things easier myself by accepting financial aid for my family and friends, but that's just something I can't really do. You can't really turn around and tell someone who with depression, what you need to do is just be happy. To stop being sad. Yeah, that doesn't work with someone with depression, and that doesn't really work. Tell me, just accept the money, because I can't. It'd end up doing more damage if I did accept money from my family and friends. My problems, I have to be my own. I have to see myself as a strong person to be there for others, and I can't do that if I feel like I'm a burden to them. That's probably the best way I can explain how I feel about that. So yeah. But yeah, so if there's anyone out there who's going through a hard time, who's having having issues, you're not alone. They may not be the same, but I'm here talking about my problems. Probably this has been like the darkest period of my life, or one of the darkest. There's probably another one that's more noteworthy, which I may talk about later in a future date. Definitely, because I never felt like I never felt so down that I actually wanted to kill myself. Not for a long time, at least. And this is when I broke down, I collapsed. I was crying. I was hysterical and I didn't know what I was doing. I haven't felt like that for a very long time, and to be honest, like, it's not all gone away. It's still there on the edge, because, you know, if something else major happens, that's it. I'm done. You know, if my car breaks down again, you know, if it's no one's fault, because insurance only covers, it's only third party and fire, theft. It doesn't cover, you know, mechanical faults. You know, my engine blows up again, that's it. What do? I can't get any more money. You know, I don't have a vehicle. It's I don't know where I would be if it happened again. To be honest, I probably wouldn't be if it goes any more south. But hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully I can stay afloat for a bit longer. Just maintain myself. Slowly crawl my way back up to a point where I'm stable. It's going to be a long process, but yeah. And hopefully making more videos is what I can keep doing, because I do enjoy making videos and having and talking to the community out there. So feel free to leave a comment, send the channel an email, which I'm very bad at keeping track of, unfortunately. If you want to get more in touch, it's more likely to send a personal message, a Facebook message to the Channel Madness on Facebook or something, because I'll probably see that more than I would see the contact email. But yeah, but not everything was so bad. I mean, I did have my birthday, which ultimately was shit, because yeah, it's probably the worst birthday I've had. But I did get a new model from Forge World, Sanguinius, which I'm very happy to have. Both me and King got one, so we'll be working on that. I might try and take some time to paint him. Popsicle's been riding my ass about trying to get videos out. He's probably one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, because he's been riding me down, you know, where's your video, when's the next video coming out, and I had to explain to him, I had to come up with a way to explain to him and to you guys why there wasn't a video and why it's been so hard, you know, working for 4 weeks straight, having all this shit thrown at me. If it wasn't related to eating or sleeping or just straight working, it had to be cut out of my life, just because I had to turn everything off emotionally and just work and just do that. So, but now that I've got time to myself, I can make some more videos. I can try and get the team to make some videos, because that's another mission, is just trying to get somebody else to make videos besides me. Because I want to work more on more of the talking videos. I'll probably talk more about that in the next podcast whenever I find time to record that one, because I know we're behind by a month. But yeah. So thank you guys for sitting there listening to me drag on about my misery. And love and support for all of you, and big thanks to Josh for supporting me throughout the month. Big thanks to obviously everyone, all my friends, King, Lexo, Todd, Lag, Khan, I forgot some of them. They've been there to help me through, and big thanks to your community for just giving me a reason to make videos. Besides just making videos for myself, it's nice to have people actually watch them and interact with me and talking to the community. It's why I want to make videos. I want to be an entertainer, I guess. Hopefully, maybe in the future I can quit my baking job and just work full-time, editing videos and whatnot. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys later, hopefully in a more happy note. And yeah, stick around. Thanks for listening to me.